Ten went out of its way to mention that the University of Michigan is a valued member of the Big Ten Conference to kind of quell some of that. Michigan and Jim Harbaugh agreed to the three-game sanction with 1 game served to quell some of that. And it does bring to mind, because the way that the University of Michigan worded it, did Jim Harbaugh fall on the sword here? Because nothing ties back to him, and that's fine. But does anything tie back to anybody on his staff? And he knows that I have to, this doesn't really affect me. They know my name is clear. Everybody does. All I got to do is just jump on this grenade for my guys. Is that what has to happen? That, to me, is very, very interesting. Very interesting the way the statement is crafted. Very interesting that they decided just to accept it. And I feel like a lot of Michigan fans are going to be upset because they wanted a fight. I had no problem with them. I heard it, and I said it, encourage. I encouraged it. Go fight them. Let's see what happens. Let's see what Petitti's got going on. They decided to go another route, and that's okay because, there it is. Case closed. We're done. We're done here. Now, you can bring it up as much as you like. You can talk about it as much as you like. You can tweet about it as much as you like, just like anything else with life. But 3 games, 1 game is served. You go road trip to Maryland, home against Ohio State. Fan base is going to be juiced for that. They'll probably do the free Jim Harbaugh thing just as a rallying point. And then that'll be that. And then you're done. Everything, I don't know what else. You can call in, you can vent, you can yell and scream and hoot and holler. You can know what's going on. I know we're going to get some of those. I know for a fact. Okay. Well, present your evidence to the Big Ten then. That's all you have to do. Present your evidence to the Big Ten. And present it to the rest of us. Ohio State fans are already in their feelings about this. They are not pleased with the fact that, Michigan and Jim Harbaugh just decided to take this and be done. And that's, hey, look, man, I get it. You're mad. Go ahead and be mad. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't vacate anything. It doesn't make them ineligible for anything. Literally, nothing changes except for Jim Harbaugh won't be there on the sidelines on Saturdays. So if you're a Michigan fan and you're okay, man, this is bad. It's really not that bad. If you're an outside fan or hate Michigan, you're probably upset with this, and that's okay. You could be as upset as you want to be. We could try to talk through it if you'd like, but outside of that, there's really not anything left for us to do. It's very kind of anticlimactic. I feel you. I was ready to get hyped up today, come in here and talk about, we're gonna go after a blah blah blah. It didn't happen. Yesterday's news came out. Ryan sent it to me. I clicked the tweet. Boom. Done. Very anticlimactic. Whether you like that or not is totally up to you. But I thought it was a very, very crafty statement that kind of addressed things pretty specifically. And that's what we got. And I'm sorry if it is unacceptable to you as a reclining chair commissioner. There's nothing I can do to help you here. There really isn't. I feel like, man, I wish they would have fought. They didn't fight. It is what it is. It's the whole thing is interesting. And Ohio State fans are going down the Matt Weiss and Clint scale. They're going down the rabbit hole. Go ahead. Go right ahead. Just go as far as you want to go. Doesn't matter to me. I'm good with it. You guys keep figuring out, you internet sleuths. Let me know what you come up with. We'll step aside. We'll be back with more X's and Bros next here at Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my friends at Urban U. They're Michigan's best med spa. Now, they have multiple locations in the Grand Rapids metro area, and you'll find an Urban U location in Northville on the east side of the state. And this is a message for any guy listening right now. How often do you think about your skin health care? Well, Urban U has multiple options that could help you immediately. Whether you work out a lot, you run, your job requires a lot of sweating, you need to think about your skin health care, and Urban U can help you, hydrofacials, and so much more, or even your kids. Think about that. If your son, your daughter's playing a lot of sports and they're having trouble with their skin health care, Urban U has options that can help today. Just go to theurbanu.com to find out more. Locations in the Grand Rapids metro area and on the east side of the state in Northville, go to theurbanu.com.
Earn bonus points with M-Perks at Meijer for just one more way to save this holiday season. Shop groceries, apparel, gifts, and more, and earn points on it all. And right now, earn 2 times the points for every dollar you spend on select Meijer brand food. Earn points every time you shop and redeem them anytime you want. Make Meijer your one-stop shop for everything you need this holiday season. And with M-Perks, you'll save even more. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com. Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. A reminder, text the keyword tailgate to 21,000, tailgate to 21000, and you are going to be entered to win, based on that text message alone, a pair of tickets to the game next Saturday, Michigan, Ohio State. Very much excited about that. Text the keyword tailgate to 21,000. A reminder, Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, offering not one but two championship courses. This is why you can't close your golf course too soon, folks. You get this little fall summer, whatever that was yesterday. Courses were packed. I had after work last night, I had to go to a Christmas party, or holiday party, I should say. A holiday party for a friend of the family. And it's a great event they throw every single year. And it was at a golf course that I just so happened to have my league at, Sandy Creek there in Monroe. And so I was asking Monique, she is now in partner with her brother. They took over for their parents, and they are running the joint now. Place looks beautiful. And I asked Monique, I said, were you guys open? She's like, we were slammed today. I said, well, that's great. She's like, yeah, we weren't prepared for it, but I mean, we were busy. So it's like, yeah, I mean, how do you staff for a course like that? But at Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes, Tullymore and St. Ives, two championship courses located smack dab in the middle of the state. And even when golf season is done, you can still use the wonderful property that is Tullymore. Whether you're looking for the perfect space for your wedding event, reception, or group outing, Tullymore's got you covered. And with its great location in Canadian Lakes, that's an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. It's smack dab in the middle of the state. It's easy to get to no matter what direction you are coming from. So visit TullymoreGolf.com or call 1-800-972-4837. Let's get to Matt, who's on the Meijer Supercenter guest line. You can join us too. 866-838-4843. 866-838-4843. Matt, good morning to you, my friend. What's on your mind, partner?
Oh, good. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Still early, though. That could change.
Yeah, it could change. I just have a different perspective, and this is not something that I didn't think I'd mention or want to mention, but there is some good that's come out of this whole Harbaugh suspension. Some of the people in the national media have said, you know, there was talk many years ago about African Americans not having a role in major college football or the NFL. Well, during all of this, Sherrone Moore is now leading one of the blue bloods of college football, and he seems to be doing a tremendous job. And I just wanted to point that out. I'm not playing the race card or anything like that, but the gentleman, he seems like a great human being. He's doing a fine job. So thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, that's what, after with some of the responses, some of those negative responses to his post-game presser, that is, kind of where, that's one of the things that I drew from this. Michigan's never had a black head coach, at least to my knowledge, in program history. He is a little bit of a trailblazer there for the University of Michigan, and it's I think you just call a spade, right? It's the first time it's happened. It's worthy of being acknowledged. The fact that Jim Harbaugh has had the trust in him to hand him the keys when the going got tough, I think it speaks volumes to what he believes. And we talked about this with Chris Wormley as well yesterday a little bit, that there's a lot of love there between those two guys. And Sherrone Moore spent a lot of time with Jim Harbaugh and on this staff at Michigan. And, 6 years? And as a coach, that's a long time to leave your career in the hands of the head coach. Because as an assistant, that's kind of where you're at. What happens is you break in somewhere as a GA, you get hired on a staff, usually like Group of Five or FCS or something like that. And that you might get hired on there as an alum, but you probably have to take another step prior to that, working at a Division II school somewhere. Maybe you are, who knows? Who knows how your career gets started? But it's not, nobody just like, oh, I want to go into coaching. Oh, I'm going to be the offensive coordinator at Michigan. Like, that's not how that works. That grind is so real, and the amount of time that these guys spend, I know people are like, oh, well, these coaches get paid so much. If they weren't professional athletes, there are some young guys out there. Lanning's a couple years older than I am. That's pretty incredible that he made it there. Jason Candle at Toledo, he got that job, I want to say, when he was about 35, 34, 35. Matt Campbell was the same way. He was the youngest coach in D1 when he got hired at Toledo. You're talking about a lot of trust there, and you're talking about a massive responsibility for a young man. Let's be honest here. Let's not act like, 30 in your pro career might be curtains for you. 30 in your real life, that's like the first third of your life. You're still a young man. You still got gas in the tank. You still get excited over things. You start to get to, 50, 60, 70, and you see those people that got those smiles on their faces. Saw a lot of them last night, where, they're enjoying life and, things of that nature. Like, that's awesome. That's so good for them. But as a young person, when you are entering the coaching field, you are going to be bouncing around from staff to staff to staff. You're going to go from Toledo to Iowa State to Louisiana to back to over. It's nonstop because you're constantly trying to climb that ladder. Who's got a good opportunity? Because I want to be an offensive coordinator. I want to be a defensive coordinator. I want to be a head coach. I want to lead a team. There's a finite number of those jobs, folks. A finite number. And so for Sharon Moore to believe and climb the ranks internally at the University of Michigan, you could tell, especially going back to that press conference, like, he loves Jim Harbaugh. He wasn't just saying that. Like, he loves him. And his career is in Jim's hands. And he knows that. Jim knows that. And that's, Jim's a pretty big advocate for a lot of different things and for other people to have success. And, it does make me wonder. My buddy Joe just tweeted at me about the plea agreement itself. Like, I really am not sure. I wish I had an answer. I'm surprised as much as the next person, but this could very well just be Coach Harbaugh saying, hey, look, they might have something deeper here. Might not be on me, but it might be on one of my guys. What's the difference? We're in good hands. We don't need this to go any further. We could just be done here. Or that's option one. Option two, he could be sitting there going, is it really worth dragging this in the mud? Is it really worth the fight? If for whatever reason we were to lose the fight, did the Big Ten put the postseason on the line? If they did, then yes, you immediately take the deal and just be done with it. It'd just be done with it. We are not going to, we're not going to argue this. We're not going to fight this. Like, if the Big Ten said, look, you want to go through with this, we're not just going to go with a 3-game suspension because your team benefited X, Y, and Z. We are going to go with a postseason. Done. We're out. I'll take it. I will take it. Because I don't want to put my guys in a position where they don't have the opportunity to compete in the postseason because of this quote-unquote scandal or this investigation. So for me, if those are the options on the table, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for right there. Like, I don't need anything else. I'm 100% good with the idea that if that's the case, I'm out. And I think you would be too. I honestly do. I think that if that was your team and that's what they were, whether it was they had something on one of your assistant coaches or if they, for whatever reason, were like, hey, this is a situation now where we're going to bring the postseason into play. I think you bend the knee, you take the agreement, and you just be done with it. So that would be me. That would be me. And if you're good in that situation, and I am okay with that. I was yesterday. Yesterday there was a little bit of, I wouldn't say a roller coaster of emotions, but there was a little bit of a questioning about what's going on. But it was like, okay, after this Christmas party, I get home, I'm going to have at least 90 minutes to process what's going on and watch Thursday night football to get ready for the show tomorrow, right? And so it's like, okay, what are all of our available options in a situation like this? And if you are looking at it from the outside perspective and you want to say that this is an admission of guilt, by all means, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to fight with you over it. If that's the way you feel, that's the way you feel. I'm not even going to try to change your perspective on it. I'm not going to try to sway your opinion. You are entitled to feel however you would like to feel. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to try to stop you in any of this. You're wondering why Michigan took the plea, really? Well, this is the thing. If you know something that for a fact, not an opinion, not something that anybody made up, not a theory, not a thought. If you know the exact reason why, go right ahead. You could share that with us. Jay Harbaugh is breathing easy. Maybe it's Jay. Maybe it's Minter. Maybe it's more. Doesn't matter who it is. Could be anybody on the staff. If Jim said that I'll take it and we'll close the case and be done, then there you go. And so yes, it leaves open the door for whatever the investigation is. And the Big Ten said they're still going to cooperate with the NCAA so they can get their hands out of it. They can try to get as much egg off of their face as they possibly can. And everybody can move forward. If you don't like that response, that is fine. I am more than willing to hear your case or your thoughts for, against, or indifferent the Maize and Blue. Text the keyword sports radio to 21,000, sports radio to 21000, or call us on the Meijer Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. Pick up the phone, give us a dial, let us know your thoughts on it. That's where I'm at. That's the, basically what I was able to come up with is, hey, postseason ban on the line. You take the fall. If they have more information, you take the fall. And that's that. But as for Connor Stallions and the advanced scouting and the fact that he was traveling to games, I do not believe for 1 minute he is the only person in college football doing that. I know for a fact he's not the only person in college football doing that. I know in other divisions, guys that are traveling around, making that trip, a little in-person scout. So if that bothers you, that's a part of the unwritten rules of the game. The rule says this: the staffs do not, they do not oblige by that. Other teams are out there; they are gathering information, and there was nothing. My favorite clip is Aiden Hutchinson beating his chest and then beating the left tackle's brains in. There's nothing that any sort of scout can do to save you from the physicality of football. And you can argue with me on that till the cows come home. But you mean to tell me if you can't block Aiden Hutchinson, he bull rushes your left tackle and blows him up off the ball? Like, that's the physical nature of the game. That's what you have to be able to execute. That's what you have to be able to stop. And the meaner team, the nastier team, usually wins. Like, I think that Ohio State is a much more, I think they have more finesse than Michigan. I think Michigan is trying to find a little bit of its nasty right now. That's where the offensive line was so successful the last couple of years. I think they found that a little bit against Penn State. And I think they'll bring a little nasty to this game tomorrow against the Terps before Ohio State. Now, I want to shift gears real quick. I spent probably way too much time on that than I already wanted to. Detroit and Chicago this weekend. Do these games feel different to you? And the reason I bring this up is because there is and I don't want to say this and sound crazy, but there's an overwhelming sort of, maybe it's not even overwhelming. There's a certain level of confidence I felt in that Chargers game. And that's where we've seen this kind of develop and evolve over the weeks. And I'm really interested to know where you were at during that Chargers contest. Were you in the, oh boy, here we go again? Or were you more in lockstep or in line with, no, it's okay because they can't stop us either? Where were you at on Sunday? Because these games with the Detroit Lions are all starting to feel a little bit different. And I'll go back to the Vegas game on Monday Night Football, too, right? You had 3 drives that stalled where you had to settle for field goals. You had 3 turnovers in the football game. Any other team probably folds there. There's probably only a handful that can survive. The matchup was favorable, that being that it was Vegas, but at the same time, and being at home, but at the same time, the offensive line has now neutralized premier pass rushers off the edge in consecutive weeks. I mean, Penei Sewell, you've probably seen the video of him walking back to the locker room after the Chargers game saying that I am a man amongst boys. Like, that's pretty, I mean, he's 22 years old, folks. He's still a kid. Very angry kid. Very strong kid. But a very, very large child. But that is a young man that is, I mean, you're signing him, you get in early, you ink a decade-long plus deal and be done with it. And know that, okay, that spot is solidified. And it's okay if he's the highest paid left tackle for a year, because you know that number is going to change. And the sooner you get him on the books, the sooner you can reap the benefits of the salary cap going up due to the contracts and the rights deals. Because the NFL is going to continue to make money. The cap threshold is going to lift. The cap ceiling is going to go up. So we know that. It's going to happen. So use it to your advantage. But the Las Vegas game of Oakland, never once was really overly concerned that we were going to lose that game. Never. The Chargers game. I mean, after the first, 7 minutes of that game, we're winning this game. We are winning this game. We forced a punt, got a field goal, held them to a field goal, scored a touchdown, did all of that in roughly 7 or 9 minutes. And I'm like, we are winning this football game. Everything feels different. Everything. And I got a lot of questions last night at the holiday party about, Dan Campbell going to leave for A&M? I don't think that he is. I mean, he said that he's not, but people wanted to, debate me on that. I said, look, he said he's not going to. I don't know what I could tell you to convince you otherwise. Well, what if they, throw $100 million at him? Like, I don't know, maybe the Ford family offers him 101. I'm not really sure. I don't have to worry about that because it hasn't happened yet. Right now, he's the head coach of the Detroit Lions. He's not leaving in the middle of the night to go take another coaching job somewhere. Like, I'm going to enjoy this season as much as I can. This kind of stuff does not happen often. Enjoy it. Embrace it. We're 7-2 right now, going into a 2-game stretch in 1 week. And by this time next week, we could very well be talking about a team that is 9-2. 9-2. Bears on Sunday. Packers on Thanksgiving Day. Think about that. We get 2 wins in 5 days. You do that, that looks really good going into next weekend. Really good. So I'm just putting that out there for you. And I know I could feel it. You could see it. It's palpable. You could almost taste it, that this team is different. And that old moniker that used to trail this team everywhere they went is actually gone. We'll step aside and be back with hour number 2 next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he is a managing shareholder at Br0's, soon to be Doran Mayhew at the end of the year. And with the merger, there is growth and a chance for you to fill an executive or other high-level finance-related roles, either at Br0 here in downtown Grand Rapids or over at the Doran Mayhew World Headquarters in Troy, or at any of their offices across the country and around the world. They have a national specialized talent pool with ideal candidates for long-term placement, ongoing support for post-placement success. So if you're looking for that next chapter in your professional career, talk to Josh Garvey and the team at Br0. Easiest way, you can call Br0, ask for Josh Garvey, or go to their website, BENEGARTR.com, or look for Br0, soon to be Doran Mayhew, on Facebook and on Twitter.
Save on Thanksgiving in one stop at Meijer. Get a Meijer Grade A frozen turkey, 59 cents per pound, limit 1. Plus all the potatoes, stuffing, and tasty pies you could want. And preview Black Friday deals in the Meijer app. Deals so good, you just gotta celebrate. Get Thanksgiving in one stop and shop holiday deals this week at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. Book your stay this fall in a luxurious first-class room and receive $50 premium play, a $20 spa credit, and a $25 dining credit. Rates are just $289 a night, Sunday through Thursday, and $339 on Fridays and Saturdays. Reserve your room now, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
everyone.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam! Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good feel-good Friday morning to you. It is the 17th day of November, 2023. Great to have you ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the morning, GR to the morning city, GR to the Motor City. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Man, it's been a week. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000. Call us on the Meyer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843, 866-838-4843. That's where we find Dale, who wants to talk a little maize and blue. Dale, good morning to you, my friend. How are you, partner?
Hey, I'm doing great. I love that intro, good morning. Justice is served a little bit. We get the Big Ten back off of Michigan. And this feels like Michigan's finally starting to take a little accountability. And that's my question to you is this, because you were talking yesterday about how you got Santa Ono's ear a little bit. Is this the first step in accountability? Because we haven't seen it in the last couple years.
Well, I mean, Jim did serve the 3-game suspension earlier this year over the cheeseburger, over the recruiting. I shouldn't call it the cheeseburger. I should call it the recruiting.
I love that because it wasn't a cheeseburger. The NCAA came out and said it wasn't about a cheeseburger, and Michigan never took accountability for that. And all they did was give him a 3-gamer, which the NCAA was giving him a 4-game. So that didn't make any sense. And then we could go down through them, the gun charge, racist coach, all of it, right? We can walk our way through Connor Stallions, and at no point has there been accountability. And it feels like finally they've taken that first step in understanding we have a problem.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't have any quarrel with that feeling right there, or that analysis right there, or that perspective right there. The Shemmy Schembechler thing. When you go back through people's tweets, I saw that one of Travis Kelce's tweets as a young person had just resurfaced, and it said, "Happy Easter, thanks Jesus for taking one for the team," or something. Like, people tweet dumb stuff at a younger age. I don't know how old Shemmy was when he tweeted that or whatever that was.
I'm not saying I've never tweeted dumb stuff, but I don't work for the University of Michigan either. You know what I mean? And my thing is, when I was growing up, Michigan was always we're Michigan. We're never. And it's like, you lost that luster now. It's gone. It's all gone. You never took accountability for anything. And you want to talk about SEC wouldn't do this. Tennessee got beat. Beat over the head, giving out bags of money, okay? They didn't turn on anybody. They didn't turn on anybody in the SEC. They took their whoop. Jimbo Fisher shut his mouth after he was running his mouth about Alabama. I'm sure Greg Sankey stepped in and said, hey, you might want to zip it.
That one that's a really good example, and I really do. Oh, man, that's it. In the SEC, we joke around that it just means more. It is interesting to see, when Tennessee was gonna take their fall for the bag man. They took it, and it just kind of is what it is. Yeah, we were doing it. We got caught, is what it is. When you're right, when Jimbo Fisher started yapping about Alabama, why did that just cease? Was it because Alabama just continues to win, or was there a phone call that said, hey, we're gonna knock this off right now. We don't do this to our own. You guys can hate each other out there all you want, but at the end of the day, we have a brand to look after. Does it feel like Michigan's taking some accountability? Sure. Does it feel like the Big Ten and Michigan maybe had a conversation where it's like, look, we're right now, this is bad for everybody. We look atrocious. We look bad. You guys look bad. We look bad. Our new commissioner looks bad. We look like, we together collectively have a lack of institutional control. Our fan bases are going rogue. Our coaches are having to talk about this all the time. Like, this is a bad look over the entire conference. We've got a lot of positive mojo coming in. We've got 2 teams in the top 5 right now. We've got 4 teams coming in from the Pac-12 next year. Like, can we settle all this right now and get it done with? And I'm okay with that. And if they knew more, and Jim Harbaugh said, you know what, screw it, I'll be your fall guy. I'll take it. Give me the suspension. We're good. Let's move on. And that was the deal. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, no, but finally, this is a little bit of accountability that we haven't seen out of Michigan at all. Not for any of it. The Mozzie Smith gun charge is the craziest one to me.
Well, I don't know how long you've been listening to the show, but you know where I stand on that, right?
Absolutely. But that's the craziest one to me. Because let's talk, Chase Young got suspended by the NCAA. We tend to forget this. Michigan's taking the victim card. Chase Young got suspended from the NCAA because he took a loan to get his girlfriend out to the Rose Bowl game and paid the entire loan back and then got suspended.
I remember that. Yeah, that's a dumb.
And we saw nothing come out of that.
That is a dumb NCAA rule. And as for the Mozzie Smith case, it was like, okay, he's got a gun charge. Is he carrying the firearm illegally? Well, no, he's got his paperwork. Yeah. But is he riding around with a loaded pistol? All right, but if he's in the class, I mean, you're in the class. They're explaining to you what's going. I mean, if you've ever taken the class before, that I didn't like at all. I think it should make you ineligible for a year with the amount of reckless behavior we have with firearms, not only in sports but just from a societal standpoint. I think that if you catch a gun charge, you should be ineligible. You should be suspended 1 year and ineligible to turn pro in that calendar or in that full season from your suspension. That's just me. Mozzie Smith is having a good year. Go Blue, all that. He's in the NFL now, and carry your pistol, I guess, wherever you want to, but not a church, not a bar, not a post office.
Hey, last thing before I go, because I appreciate you actually bringing me on. I've waited for a long time to hit the afternoon show, and I never got on. But I appreciate listening to you in the morning. It's a good show, even though we disagree on a lot of things. I like listening. But the last thing I want to say is I believe it was Chris Ballas was talking about how, and I'm waiting for the apologies on a couple things from a couple people, about how, Michigan knew Illinois had their signs, and so they put on wristbands. I went back and watched the whole game. Now, at one point did they put on wristbands? Not one point. And so at what point did this become deflecting? And that's where I think the Big Ten had to step in, is because we've had so much deflecting and throwing it everywhere else. That's where the Big Ten had to step in.
Who had wristbands?
Michigan. He said Michigan put wristbands on in the second half. No, they didn't. I watched the whole game.
The players?
Yeah.
Interesting.
J.J. McCarthy never puts a wristband on. Not one time. But that was his argument. Well, they put wristbands on because they knew Illinois had their signs.
Dale, you know what we should do?
Coming out about Purdue and
yeah, I don't remember that either. You're gonna force me to go back and watch the second half of the Illinois game too. But you know what we should do is we should literally now just put our own radio receiver in the helmet and just connect the headset. Is what we should do. Let's go that route.
They're doing it for bowl games.
As they should. And if the one good thing out of this, and from your perspective, might be like finally Michigan is holding themselves accountable for their mistakes, I can get down with that. And if the one good thing outside of that comes from this is that, hey, starting in 2024, everybody in college football has radio receivers in their headsets, and we don't have to worry about the shenanigans and the giant poster boards anymore with a duck and Aaron Andrews and a hockey puck and Steve Yzerman on it, then great. Dale, I appreciate the phone call. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a rational human that says, hey, we might disagree on things, but at the end of the day, we can all get along. So thank you for that, my friend.
Yep. Thanks for having me on.
All right, partner. We'll talk to you soon. There goes Dale. We'll step aside. We got some more texts coming in. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's a Black Friday free fall every week in November. Each week, nab the best deal around with drawings from 3 to 11 p.m. Every hour, 4 lucky players will win up to $1,000 premium play. Don't miss a moment of the excitement. It's Black Friday free fall. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org. Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
From Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, you're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. You know, folks, in the NBA, the game can change in an instant. No matter how the action unfolds, you know DraftKings Sportsbook has your back. Of course they do. This week, new customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Win or lose, you get an instant dub. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE. New customers get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. Must be 21 plus, physically present. Michigan eligibility deposit restrictions do apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Welcome back here. X's and Bros on a Feel Good Friday. So great to have you riding along with us. You know, and we got a couple more text messages here before we get into our next topic. A little Thursday Night Football last night. I have not heard anybody say that it's very possible Jim Harbaugh would be suspended regardless. The reason is the buck stops at him. And even if he's not directly involved, they will say you are the face of the program and indiscretions happen on your watch. So I think they decided to take the punishment now, slow down the news cycle, and focus on winning football games. Yeah, that's what he wants the focus back on the student athletes. He wants the focus back on the games. Coach Harbaugh said that. This is why, I mean, this is institutional control. That's what it comes down to. That's what everybody points back to. I like the fact, because we got another text here. I'm gonna pair these two together. Rich Eisen had a passionate rant in Germany. Howard on ESPN. Woodson on Fox. I mean, they all have to feel blindsided by the plea. I wonder if that passion comes out for that. Freddie. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. You just double down on it. That's all you do. You just double down. That's what, I mean, that's where I'm at with it. Same thing. I think Tony Petitti did a terrible job with this. Just from a PR standpoint, looks bad. Like, hey, we're going to take a look at this. Everybody quiet down. We're going to take a look. If you want to say, hey, we're investigating things, that's fine. We're investigating. This is what we're taking a look at. We'll come back to you when we have our results. Boom, period, end of discussion. I mean, then media members can ask individual coaches, and they could say whatever they want to say. Some people are like, it doesn't matter. Some people are like, oh, my God, it's the end of the world. That's exactly how Twitter's reacted. But I don't think that slows down the passion for any of these guys. I think, if anything, they look at Jim Harbaugh now with even more reverence to know that this man is just going to take hey, look, I'm just going to take the punishment. I'll take it. You guys carry on. I'll see you at the facility Sunday. I think that all that does is reinforce and reinstill the passion for the Michigan man. Oh, I know it's going to drive Freddie crazy. I know it's going to drive him crazy. Rich Eisen's going to come out, talk about how proud he is of Jim Harbaugh. He might do that in Germany. He might do it in Switzerland. Maybe Rich Eisen goes to Sweden with the Red Wings and talks about it. Desmond Howard on ESPN. Maybe he jumps over to CBS to tell everybody. Maybe he's on NBC. Gives everybody the business there. Charles Woodson, same thing. They're all going to double down. And I don't have a problem with it. Obviously, I don't care. But, even for me, it's like, okay, this is what happened. This is where we're at. You could swing Thor's hammer as hard as you want. It's not going to, it just doesn't do anything. Like that's the other kind of anticlimactic portion here. Like, I wish that this story would, look, I saw Huge's engagement on social media over the last 28 days. From our perspective, working in sports media, when a story comes out like this, now I happen to have a little different perspective than most, but this story comes out, this is more important than clean water. It's crazy. It's the sensationalism of it all. Because you know what it does? This story here with Michigan, just like it would if it was Ohio State or Notre Dame or Alabama or whomever, this story here did numbers. I saw what it did for Huge. Can you imagine what it did for ESPN? What it did for Fox? What it did for CBS? A story like this, you can sensationalize it. And we, as civilians in our society, don't do well with sensationalized stories. And if you need any evidence of this, go back to our last election and look at how people, I don't care who you voted for, people were neck and neck over everything. Everything. I saw it happen the other day. A presidential candidate was being interviewed on CNN, and they instead of asking a question about the actual topic that they were supposed to talk about, they were talking about what a former president said and his verbiage that he used to describe individuals that are committing crimes. And the current presidential candidate pointed out that I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about the actual problem. I don't care what he calls it. It doesn't matter to me. And it's like, well, that's a pretty rational way of thinking. Just like Dale. By the way, I just take, Ben gets a phone call, Ben types it in the sheet. As long as we have time to take the call, and if it's like the last minute or whatever, sometimes I'll skip over it just because I want to be able to give you the time, or at least tell you, hey, I see you on hold. Ben's notified me. We'll get to you after this, or whatever the case may be. Or we have, a guest coming up, so call back at this time. I don't ever hide from anybody. You could call in and be, Urban Meyer could call in for right now for all I care. Doesn't matter. But we love to sensationalize things. Is it a big story? Sure. It's the biggest story in college sports. But if you listen to Ryan with no vested interest in this, in fact, Michigan going down in flames, he would probably be like Mr. Burns and Mr. Smithers from The Simpsons tapping his fingers together. I understand. But did you hear the rationale in his voice? Like, yeah, it's going on. Yeah, it might have broke the rules. I don't really care. And we're supposed to, I think. And it's not a cop-out by me. I'm not giving you a plea deal. Well, it doesn't matter to me, so I'm not going to talk about it. I have no problem talking about it. But let's just be realistic. Everybody steals signs. The way in which they went about it, that's what's up for grabs. Connor Stallions, I said it before, I'll say it again. I'd hire the guy right away. Yeah, sure, I read his Yelp reviews about the vacuum cleaning or whatever that was. I don't care about vacuums. This guy had a goal in life, wanted to achieve it, went about it in a means that is, I guess, illegal, that we all just found out about that. How many people knew about this rule before this came out? You didn't know. You didn't care. But it came out, and whether it was against your team or for your team, you were either going to defend or attack. It's human nature. It's human nature. That's why I don't get bent out of shape over people like, they just pound their fists on the table. That's human nature. Instead of just looking at the story for what it is, and we try to figure out exactly okay, what happened here? What happened? What's the cause of everything? What do we do next? That's all we want to know. And how does the story conclude? That's it. And if you want to attack it with everything you got, go right ahead. I mean, it's your day to day. It's not mine. If you are like, okay, well, he takes a 3-game suspension, sort of anticlimactic, well, that's fine too. I mean, I went off the rails on Tony Petitti. I had a good time doing it. It was a fun segment. And here we are. The results have come out of what the much anticipated court date was going to be. I think it looked bad for the judicial system as well, though. Do we really need to be spending our time and our dollars on this? I don't know. Did I say on Twitter, now we're finally putting our tax dollars to good use? Yeah, you want to know why I said that? Because I knew it aggravated people. I knew it would bother people, and that's why I did it. Let me come clean. Let me take accountability for my actions. I was gaslighting people on the internet because I like to argue. It's a problem that I have. I like to argue. I like to fight. I'm sorry. But I'll admit it to you. It's the first step in admitting, in recognizing you have a problem. It's in my genetic coding. I can't help it. I just want to argue with people. All right, we're going to step aside. We'll be back. Our weekend preview, Thursday Night Football last night. Lots to get to. Matt Kowalis coming up. He's been red hot on this program. He's 10-0-2 in the last 3 weeks. Jeff Risdon's going to join us. Whole lot going on in hour 3. Don't go anywhere. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my friends at Urban U. They're Michigan's best med spa. Now, they have multiple locations in the Grand Rapids metro area, and you'll find an Urban U location in Northville on the east side of the state. And this is a message for any guy listening right now. How often do you think about your skin health care? Well, Urban U has multiple options that could help you immediately. Whether you work out a lot, you run, your job requires a lot of sweating, you need to think about your skin health care, and Urban U can help you, hydrofacials, and so much more, or even your kids. Think about that. If your son, your daughter's playing a lot of sports and they're having trouble with their skin health care, Urban U has options that can help today. Just go to theurbanu.com to find out more. Locations in the Grand Rapids metro area and on the east side of the state in Northville, go to theurbanu.com.
Earn bonus points with M-Perks at Meijer for just one more way to save this holiday season. Shop groceries, apparel, gifts, and more, and earn points on it all. And right now, earn 2 times the points for every $1 you spend on select Meijer brand food. Earn points every time you shop and redeem them anytime you want. Make Meijer your one-stop shop for everything you need this holiday season. And with M-Perks, you'll save even more. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. In the NBA, the game can change in an instant no matter how the action unfolds. You know DraftKings Sportsbook has your back. This week, new customers can score $150 instantly as bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Win or lose, you get an instant dub. Fade the Pistons. Best of all, it's safe, secure, and reliable. 24/7 support. You can deposit, withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE. New customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline. 800-270-7117. Must be 21 years of age and older, physically present in Michigan. Eligibility and deposit restrictions to apply. See bonus bets expiring 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Shemi tweeted a week before being hired, who is a defensive coach who deleted all his Twitter yesterday. Luckily, though, Jay Harbaugh still has his Twitter. Freddie, get off Twitter, man. Relax. It's okay. I don't care. I'll delete my Twitter. No, I won't. I'll think about it. When I retire, I'll delete my Twitter. I don't even know what Shemi, what did he even tweet before being, that's the thing. Man. You know, sometimes less is more. Less is more. Coach Klink no longer has a Twitter. Yeah, Jay Harbaugh. Why do you not like Jay Harbaugh now all of a sudden? Like, what's wrong with the guy's kid? Like, Jim Harbaugh, I don't know. The more the story goes on in his, discussions during that press conference about the chickens, like, the more I like the guy. Like, all it's doing is reinforcing my love for Jim Harbaugh. Like, it doesn't, as it was said to me yesterday, is it really that big a deal? This came from a Notre Dame fan. He's like, is it really that big a deal? I said, well, no. I mean, everybody steals signs. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. It's how you went about it that is up in question. And he's like, exactly. Brian Kelly killed a kid. And I was like, damn. Did he actually? No, but they had the kid up in the lift, and that's how the young man's life came to an end with 40-mile-an-hour winds. Nothing ever happened to Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly's life went on, and somebody actually died. Like, what are we talking about? This is not a crime against humanity. Nobody's committing acts of domestic violence. Nobody's doing anything. We're talking about Twitter here. We're talking about scouting here. We're not talking about actual criminal activity. Now, the Matt Weiss thing and the computers, that would be nice to know. I would like to know. You would like to know. We'd all like to know. But, guys, like, You see what I'm saying? Regardless if Jim Harbaugh took the plea deal today or not, regardless if they went to court or not today, whatever it is that you do, you still have to go do it. And it's going to be all day long. And you're going to have to go pick up your kids and take them to 18,000 practices. And you're going to have to see your wife or your husband. And you're going to have to, your life is going to go on. And that's what I can't stress enough. And if you think that I'm downplaying it and that I'm supporting cheaters, I'm not. I also don't think it's cheating. It's against the rules. I don't think it's cheating. That's where I stand on the whole thing. Connor Stallions wanted to restore, guy wrote a 500-page manifesto. That isn't usually activity from somebody that isn't overly obsessed with the topic. Think about all the manifestos that have ever been printed and then come back to me and you'll see, the direction I'm going with that. I'm just not going to say it out loud. That's what the guy wanted to do. And if you can't tie anything back to, there's no receipts. It doesn't tie anything back to Harbaugh. And if Harbaugh, he's already referenced William Wallace once. This is the final scene in Braveheart. They got him up on the cross and they're skewering him. Like, that's what it is. Like, this is the final scene. He's going down as a hero. That's going to make more of you even mad. And they need to do a better job of vetting their thing. You don't know what people are going to tweet. You don't know what people are going to do. You can't. How are you supposed to know the one GA, the guy's going to go rogue and, try to coerce an underage person? I don't even know whatever end up happening with that. Freddie is on the line right now, wants to talk about Michigan. That's surprising. Good morning, Freddie. How are you, my friend?
Hi, AB. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I also wanted to talk Lions as well too, because this Michigan stuff. I mean, seriously, can we be done with this crap? I mean, Dale said it perfectly. They're going to be staying forever. So why don't we just drop and be done with it? They're going to be Dale. I mean, I give kudos to Dale, because most people don't have the guts to call in, and they'll text and blah blah blah. That's all they do. And I love guys like Dale. They have the guts to call in, and they're rational. They're rational.
I love Dale.
Like me, I call in. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I will tell you something. I think you think, but I'm not on Twitter as much as you think, buddy. Now, I may post something, but I don't search Twitter. I really don't. I only look for the stuff that's replied back to me, and I get a lot of it, so that takes up a lot of my day. So I don't really go on Twitter. I hear stuff. I would never use a source from Twitter unless it was you. Now, if you tweeted something, I would consider it accurate. Other than when you tweet Santa Ono, that I think the more you tweet Santa Ono, I think what you're thinking is that December 25th, you're going to get a lot of presents on your chimney. I don't know what it is, but I think that's what you're thinking. But no, I don't go on Twitter as much as people think. I don't, because I don't believe it. I go by what I hear. You hear stuff on other radio stations, but even that is not 100% accurate. I just go by people I know, and I see a lot of people on each day of my life of making pizza. I just see a lot of people, and I just hear things. So that's kind of where my stuff comes from. Now, that's where I heard the Michigan defensive guy deleted his Twitter. That's why I didn't go on Twitter. I don't follow those guys. I don't follow Jay Harbaugh. I just go by what I hear.
You brought up Shemy. You want to hear what the Shemy thing was? Shemy was let go or resigned because of not what he tweeted, but his likes on Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's not forget. I've been, I call you 3-4 days a week. I know Shemy personally. You know that. I told. Okay, but I've told you that on air. I know Shemy personally. I mean, we did a podcast together. I know Shemy very well. So I'll leave it at that. So that's his business. That's what he does. And he got hired. He got fired. Or no, he didn't even get fired, right? He resigned, correct? He didn't get fired.
Correct. He did resign.
Yeah. In Michigan, they don't have a firing plan. They let you resign. I mean, that's, like Connor Stallions. Now he's a hero. He should be a hero for what he did in the.
You'd hire him right now.
I don't know if
you would hire him right now.
No.
If he liked pizza, you would hire him right now. If he wanted to do pizza, you would. There's no way that you would deny somebody that takes their job that seriously, that is willing to go the extra mile. By the way, one of the tweets that he liked, LOL, because protesters got inside the Capitol building and took selfies. How disconnected are you from reality? Another one, BLM riots were even worse. There was one of the likes. Yes, it was. The rest of the country would not listen to a few hundred crazies. There's another like.
You know what the real problem is, Anthony. I mean, you and I are both level-headed because we're both what you and I do in the business world. Most people can't handle, right? You know that, right?
Yes.
Well, yeah. So the problem in the world is too many people have an opinion online. That's the real problem.
100%.
People get offended by that. It just it's just too many people have an opinion, and the ones that are the loudest are the ones that have they have two followers. I'll just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying?
And they got too much time. Like, how do you spend this much time online? And Freddie, and the other part about it is, think about it like this. We are too educated, or at least we're supposed to be, too educated to act like this. I had a guy call me yesterday that wanted to know if he could get somewhere between 50 and 100 turkeys. What do you think?
Wow.
What if somebody called and said, "Hey, Freddie, I need to order some pizzas, like somewhere between like 50 and 100 pizzas." What's the first question you would ask them?
That happened to me yesterday. I opened up at 10:30. Somebody wanted 15 of them. They called me at 10 o'clock. I'm like, that ain't gonna happen. Three is what I'll allow. Excuse me. But
what if they said they needed between 50 and 100 pizzas? What would be the first question you'd ask them?
I would say you're gonna have to contact me a couple of days ahead of time. It's gotta be done before I open or after I close. Can't be done during business hours.
My first question was my response was, that's a pretty drastic difference in numbers. Do you want 50 or do you want 100, or is there a specific number in between that you're looking for here? And he's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, well, you got to find that. You need to figure that out first and then call back. I'll have my uncle call you, but you need to have that number. We can't. Well, because I'll sell you 100 turkeys. No, I have no problem with that. But don't come. Oh, I only need 50. Well, we have to order them. So if we order them for you, you're going to pay for them. That's how that works.
Yeah, and if somebody and obviously turkeys and pizza are different. But obviously he probably wanted to sell them at his market, and try to be Danny's Fine Foods is what.
I think he was trying to buy them for his employees, and I'm like, well, I mean, get your number. What's your number? Like, how many turkeys do you need? Can't come out of 50 to 100. If it's a 10-pound turkey, that's 500 pounds of turkey. There's a drastic difference there.
Yeah, there's only one Danny Fine Foods. You got to go there. Don't go to Kroger. Don't go to Meijer, because when you go to Danny's, they'll smile at you and they'll give you customer service.
I don't know. Our Yelp reviews aren't very good right now, Freddie. We've got. I looked that up. The cashiers, the little girls, they were looking that up. They said, "Did you see what people said about us?" I said, "I don't have time to read that." Get that.
Apparently, I'm about over 1,000 reviews already. I would say 98% are good, but the ones that are bad are actually funny. I had one. I got to tell you this. I hate doing this on air, but one person wrote me, and when the video came out, Freddie's ego's so big he makes people stand in line. I love it. I love. Yeah, my ego's so big.
I got one of it, Chief.
Yeah, I put that up. I put that video out. All right. Yeah. Well,
I got one oven and 3 employees, and I'm one of them. So what do you mean?
Yeah. Anyways, now that I said my piece on Michigan, I'll leave it there. It's a shame, Michigan. I feel sorry for Michigan fan. I really do, because
thank you. We'll take that.
Tainted. Yeah, your season's tainted.
No, it's not.
And you guys are victims. Now on to the Lions.
Yes,
okay?
I love the Lions.
I got to be honest with you. I'm a little concerned about this weekend. I don't think they'll lose, but hold on. Let me tell you. Sorry, honey. Okay, my daughter's yelling at me because I'm talking too loud. Anyways, forgive me, my voice. I drink coffee in the morning. Anyways, here's my thing with the Lions in Chicago. Bye, sweetheart. I love you. She told me shut up. They played Monday night. They played Monday night, and they had the bye week. Then they had to wait till Sunday night, went to the West Coast. Now they're coming home after, a couple weeks. They're playing a team that everyone's saying they're going to beat. They got a running quarterback. I think Chicago's going to – it's a division rival. I think Chicago's going to make it a little tough. Now, I'm not saying they're going to lose, but if you get funny at the end, this is a game you could lose, okay? Now, will it matter? No, it won't matter. But let's just keep winning so that way we can get that 1 or 2 seed. That's all I want. But this is a game I would watch out for, Anthony, and you'll be there front and center. I think you'll see what I'm talking about.
I'm going to see a lot of things, Freddie. What I'm going to see on Sunday is going to be something you better hide the women and children, because it's going to be we're going to go bear hunting. It's going to be a slaughter on Sunday, Freddie. This team, the way that they're playing right now, that offensive line is going to be moving the Chicago Bears wherever they like to. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be out there running around like Alvin Kamara, which were all the draft day comparisons, right? Jamison Williams is primed at the pump. Will we see Donovan Peoples-Jones this week? And what's that going to be like when you got these two high flyers and high risers out there on the perimeter with Josh Reynolds and Khalif Raymond and our man Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta? There's so many targets out there to throw to. Jared Goff's not going to know what to do. He's going to, do I want a first down here? Do I want a first down there? It's going to be 42-6, Freddie.
Well, I will tell you, I think Chicago is number 1 or 2 versus the run in the NFL, but they're not that good against the pass. So Goff will probably. I think what you might see is Goff throwing a lot and a lot of dump offs. And I think you're gonna see J-Mo have a big game. I doubt Peoples-Jones will be activated, but you'll see J-Mo have a big game. So, I'm pulling for him. You know I am. I just think it's going to be a little tougher. Division games are always tougher. They're always closer. I mean, I just think just watch out for Chicago. That's all.
Answer me this, Freddie.
Watch out. Yeah.
When we talk at this time next week, will the Detroit Lions be 9-2?
I think they'll be 8-3. I think they'll be 8-3, and it'll be totally fine. They'll be 8-3, and Philly's got to play in Kansas City, and I don't know what San Francisco's doing, but I think they'll be 8-3 because it's hard to play 3 games in 11 days. In football, you see how big those guys are and the hits that they take up close.
It's brutal.
I mean, it's tough. It's tough. So yeah. Will Lions be 9-2, or will be Michigan be playing or beating Ohio State and going to the Big Ten championship game? What would you rather have? I mean, that's
Both.
an honest question. Would you rather have the Michigan going to the Big Ten championship game?
Would I rather have the Lions go 9-2 or Michigan to the Big Ten championship game?
Yeah.
Because
8-3 could hurt the Lions at the end of the year by one game. It could.
And for the record, Eagles on the road at Chiefs, Bills and Niners at home, road Cowboys, road Seahawks. Wow, what a 5-week stretch they have coming up. That's awesome for us.
Yeah, I know.
I think 8-3 doesn't kill you. You have to be undefeated, have to get to the Big Ten championship, and have to win that game to get to the college football playoff. So if I had to choose one with a sword to my neck, I would go with Michigan. So they can get into the college football playoff, and I can go to the Rose Bowl. It's really all just being selfish here. If we're 9-2 or 8-3, either one's good with me. I think we'll be 9-2 though. I honestly do.
All right. Well, I'll leave it at that. Go Lions and Michigan fans. Listen, no one plays a victim better than you. I honestly think.
You're a hater.
I think you should play that. I think that should be your costume. Every Halloween is the victim, and you never ever convince me that the head coach of an organization, of a franchise, doesn't know exactly what's going on. There's a cover up for very important people that are in that university that cannot be exposed, and that part I get. Somebody standing up for somebody that's very important in that university, and that part I will, because we all love people. We would all say take the bullet for some people in life, So that I admire, but I'll leave it at that. AB, I love you. I think you're more handsome now than you ever have been. Your voice is like John.
Freddie, we got to hit the break, man.
Nola. Olive oil.
That's Freddie. I can't deal with all that praise. He's making me uncomfortable. We'll be back hour 3 next.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he is a managing shareholder at Br0's, soon to be Doran Mayhew at the end of the year. And with the merger, there is growth and a chance for you to fill an executive or other high-level finance-related roles, either at Br0 here in downtown Grand Rapids or over at the Doran Mayhew World Headquarters in Troy, or at any of their offices across the country and around the world. They have a national specialized talent pool with ideal candidates for long-term placement, ongoing support for post-placement success. So if you're looking for that next chapter in your professional career, talk to Josh Garvey and the team at Br0. Easiest way, you can call Br0, ask for Josh Garvey, or go to their website, BENEGARTR.com, or look for Br0, soon to be Doran Mayhew, on Facebook and on Twitter.
Save on Thanksgiving in one stop at Meijer. Get a Meijer Grade A frozen turkey, 59 cents per pound, limit 1. Plus all the potatoes, stuffing, and tasty pies you could want. And preview Black Friday deals in the Meijer app. Deals so good, you just gotta celebrate. Get Thanksgiving in one stop and shop holiday deals this week at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's the Blaze Through Fall Jeep Giveaway every Saturday in November. 2 hourly winners, 5 to 10 p.m., take home a cool $500 cash. At 11 p.m. each night, one lucky guest wins a hot new Jeep Renegade or 15 grand. The Blaze Through Fall Jeep Giveaway. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny B. To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenneth Walker. Touchdown. Smarty. Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes. Caught. Touchdown Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end. Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app for Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. Text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843. 866-838-4843. By the way, you can text the keyword tailgate, all one word, tailgate, to 21,000. Do that right now. You'll be entered to win a pair of tickets to the Michigan-Ohio State game. Our tailgate's taking place at the Stadium Club 327 East Hoover. That is next Saturday for Michigan-Ohio State, starting now at 9 a.m. Gates of the tailgate open up at 9 a.m. First 1,000 people through the door, free drink, free food. I mean, come on. That's all going down next Saturday, starting at 9. Due to my work commitments, I can't be there. However, you can be there. So you can have my ticket. Now, the biggest news of the day is the fact that Jim Harbaugh and the Big Ten have come to a deal. And it reminded me of one of my favorite films from 2009 and Brad Pitt.
I need you. You'll be shot for this? Nah, I don't think so. More like chewed out. I've been chewed out before. You know, you bitch myself heard that deal you made with the brass. In the war tonight, bitch, you make that deal?
I'd make that deal.
I don't blame you. Damn good deal.
Damn good deal. That's what it is. Take your 3 games. That's the biggest news of the day. We've got Matt Kowalis coming up. He's going to join us at 8:17. He has been red hot so far. Joining us on Fridays, previewing. I mean, the last 3 weeks, the guy's like 10-0-2 or something crazy. Jeff Risdon at 8:35 talking Lions. And because of all the Michigan stuff, we didn't even get a chance to do like half the things that were on the list of things to do today. So, however, Red Wings lost yesterday. They lost 5-4 in overtime. They got a point in Sweden. We're down 4-0. 4-0. Rallied back to tie the game and then end up losing in OT. Okay. Like, all right. So it's Ottawa, for God's sakes. We just talked about this. I don't like the loss. Ottawa has professional players too. Okay. But at least you secured a point. You got down big and you never quit. And, you know, Derek Lalone had said, like, they could easily have been 3-0 us after the first. Like, you need a couple bounces, you need a little puck luck. Like, 5-4, that's a score there. Tonight, FS1, Gavitt games, Michigan State, the entire Big Ten is depending on you tonight, taking on Butler at 6:30. That's just a little extra emphasis. All right, just put a little pressure on Ryan over there, make him uncomfortable, make him sweat a little bit. While that's going on at 6:30, tonight at 7, oh, man, I thought our game was at 6:30. Shoot. Michigan will take on Long Beach State at 7 o'clock. I believe that might be a BTN Plus game. I don't think it's actually on real television. At 7:30, the Detroit Pistons and their 2-10 record and a starting lineup that is completely dysfunctional will head to Cleveland for a 7:30 tip-off against the Cavaliers. Cavs ball. Then tomorrow, number 3, Michigan traveling on the road at Maryland, 12 noon kickoff over on Fox. Also, at noon, but this one over on BTN, you'll get Michigan State taking on Indiana. I talked to some Spartan fans last night. God bless them. Keedy family. Love them. They said, man, we can't give our tickets away right now. I said, I don't blame you. At 3:30 over on NBC, Notre Dame hosts Wake Forest. A little fake ACC matchup there. At 4 o'clock on BTN, you'll get number 2 Ohio State hosting Minnesota. That's going to be a complete waxing right there. Good luck. Ohio State improves to 11-0. It will be another top 5 matchup between the Wolverines and the Buckeyes the following week. And, of course, all eyes on Sunday's game, 1 o'clock on Fox. The Bears, taking on the Detroit Lions inside Ford Field. Now, last night, the Baltimore Ravens beat the Cincinnati Bengals 34-20. Joe Burrow knocked out of this game with a wrist injury in the second quarter. He had a cast on this thing, and the Bengals deleted a social media post where he was seen in the background of it wearing a cast on his throwing hand. He was out. That was it. And that was basically a playoff game for the Cincinnati Bengals. So big-time win for Baltimore. Unfortunate that it was Thursday night. You know, put like I don't know, the Jags and the Cardinals on Thursday night. Like, give us one of those, right? But that's a tough game to have on a short week with all that on the line. A couple other things that I want to get to and be able to relay to you before we step aside and get to Matt Kowalis here. With Joe Burrow leaving the game with a sprained wrist is the word right now. We'll stay tuned. He tried to throw the football, couldn't even make a throwing motion after it happened. Ravens tight end Mark Andrews' season is likely over due to an ankle injury. If you saw that last night, it's alleged to be a very serious ankle injury, said Coach Harbaugh. I think it's in the form of a high ankle injury, but more than just a sprain. It did not look good. He dropped the ball. He was on his back immediately calling for help. Stephon Diggs distanced himself from his brother's tweets on the Bills. The wide receiver emphasized Thursday he can't speak for his brother's recent social media posts. Trayvon Diggs tweeted Monday, the Bills, after the Bills loss, man, 14 got to get up out of there. Let's not forget he didn't start going off until Lil Bro got there. I'm not responsible for how other people feel, Stephon said. Anybody in this room for this matter, a reporter, a player, even my own brother. I love my brother. In the space, that's my brother's coming from my family. So if you want to know how he feels, you got to take that up with him. Putting me in position and me having a conversation with my brother, but that's outside, that's in-house family rules. But for me, I cannot combat or answer all the questions as to why people in the world are saying X, Y, and Z. Interesting. Chargers' Keenan Allen has an AC joint sprain. He will play on Sunday, so that's good news for them. They're taking on the Green Bay Packers. We're all Chargers fans this week, so that's fun. The Hornets' Miles Bridges is anxious for his return after 583 days. Bridges is set to return to the court Friday night for the first time in 583 days as they'll take on the Milwaukee Bucks for an NBA fake in-season tournament game. I mean, it's a real in-season tournament game, but the thing's fake. A man has been arrested on suspicion of manslaughter in the Adam Johnson death. So that is the South Yorkshire police announced this Tuesday. So they have arrested somebody in conjunction with this. They have not named the person, but we all know that it's the player who cut Johnson's neck was Matt Petgrave, 31, who plays for Sheffield. So getting a manslaughter charge, good. Off with his head. Michigan's Jim Harbaugh has accepted the Big Ten's 3-game suspension. So he was out last week. He'll be out this week, out against Ohio State, and then hopefully back for the Big Ten championship game if Michigan can take care of business against Maryland and against Ohio State. Then we'll get ready for the Big Ten title game, see Iowa there, and hopefully repeat the same thing. And as I mentioned, Red Wings fall Game 1 in the Sweden series, 5-4 in overtime. They got goals from Lucas Raymond, unassisted, his 6th. Perron got his 4th. DeBrincat got his 11th. And Gostisbehere got his 4th of the year. In OT, with 2 seconds remaining, Tim Schultz was the game-winning goal scorer there for the Ottawa Senators. Less than ideal, but, hey, sometimes that is just the way the cookie crumbles. Red Wings back in action today, 2 o'clock, NHL Network taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs before they return back stateside next Wednesday. We will step aside when we return. Matt Kowalis joins us. We're going to talk about all the bets, Detroit, Chicago, some props, some Monday Night Football as well, plus a prop that he really likes. The guy has been absolutely on fire. Write this down, highlight this segment. We'll repost it after the show so you can re-listen to it. Plus, Jeff Risdon at 8:35. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here to Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show. X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
It's time to go in the huddle. 1, 2, 3, top flight.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the National Football League. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and be sure to use the promo code HUGE for a special offer when you sign up. That's code HUGE, H-U-G-E, only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. The Detroit Lions are 7-2 with their second NFC North divisional matchup this weekend as they host the Chicago Bears. The Bears snapped their two-game losing streak last Thursday against Carolina and get back their quarterback Justin Fields. The Lions have won 4 out of 5 and the offense is humming. Detroit features the NFL leaders in 100-yard games at both the running back and wide receiver positions. David Montgomery is tied atop the league with 3 such games, and Amon-Ra St. Brown is doing the same with 6. The Sun God has also become the only player in franchise history with at least 800 receiving yards in his first 3 seasons. The Lions have struggled recently against the mobile quarterback, so we'll see if that defense can try to contain Justin Fields. I'll see you at Ford Field on Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Friday, December 1st at Soaring Eagle Casino.
Single record of the year is Better Man.
The album of the year, Killin' Time.
Come on up again, Clint Black.
This Killin' Time.
Clint Black with special guest Josh Grayson. Tickets start at $40. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Clint Black and Josh Grayson. Friday, December 1st at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
No one cares what you've been through. No one cares about your hopes, your dreams, your desire to make a difference in this world. Guess what? That isn't true. Law enforcement cares. That's why people join the force. Maybe they came from a world where those things are true, maybe they didn't. But here's something they have in common. They do care. Maybe you should consider being around people who truly care about you. Visit MichiganPoliceChiefs.org and start the conversation.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. That's Ben Glaze and Ryan Elke. I'm Anthony Bellino. Join us on the horn as he does on Fridays leading up to game day. Our good friend Matt Kowalis. Find him on Twitter at MoneylineMatt8. This guy has been absolutely scorching hot with our picks on Fridays. Matt, my man, good morning to you. How are you? How's life? How are things, partner?
Anthony, we are on fire, so you know life is good. On the show, we haven't missed a bet in the last 3 weeks. We are 10-0-2. If you were following me on Twitter or Patreon, anything like that, we also hit a 37-1 parlay. So, man, I am so excited to talk to everyone this Friday. We got a great Lions game to break down once again. So let's keep it rolling. Let's keep these winning picks alive. I'm ready to break it down with you as always.
37-1. Oh, the studio audience, they love this guy. Everyone back here is getting paid. That's why they're clapping so much. But I got to tell them to pipe down because we got a conversation over here to have. All right, so let's get into it. Lions and Bears. This one here, the Lions heavy favorites. I've seen the line anywhere between 7.5 upwards of 9 points at different books. Like this one's been a little. That's kind of a stretch right there. We'll get to the overall pick itself. Who inside for those individual player props? You know that your readers and your viewers, Matt, our listeners here, they love the 9 and 11 leg parlays. They want to cash that ticket.
Oh, yeah.
They want individual yards, anytime touchdowns, all that good stuff. Who do you like in this matchup?
Yeah, Anthony, and lucky for me, this has kind of been my specialty. I grew up with a DFS background. I was a DFS pro before switching over to sports gambling, so I love the player props. And in this matchup, we are going to be looking at none other than Sam Laporta, tight end for the Detroit Lions. Right now, his prop line is over-under at 45.5 yards. We're obviously going over that because the Chicago Bears are giving up 6.3 receptions per game to the tight end position on average of 53 yards. Okay, as we know, the Chicago Bears are actually kind of stout against the run. They're second throughout the NFL in stopping the run. So what does that mean? I think that means Jared Goff is going to incorporate a lot of play action here. And Sam Laporta missed this line in their last matchup against the Chargers. He's hit it, though, in 3 of his last 5 matchups. I think this is a big game for him here. I think he goes over that 45.5 receiving yard line and puts the Lions in a great position to win this game. And this puts the Lions in a great position to cover the spread and win this game.
That is what we want. We want to cover spreads. We want to win games. So if Sam Laporta's doing numbers there, then Moneyline Matt at 8 on Twitter, what does that do for Jared Goff?
You know, I really do Jared Goff's line here. It is 275 yards. I do like the over once again because this Bears team, like I said before, you don't really expect it, but they are stout against the run. The only thing that I do worry about is game flow if the Lions get up too much. But personally, I actually think this is going to be a 2-score game coming down to the end. And, you know, with Justin Fields coming back from that injury, he hasn't played since October 15th. He's got 11 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. And in my head, if I see this Chicago Bears team down 2 scores with a chance to backdoor cover, I'm actually putting my faith in Justin Fields to make a mistake. I don't think Justin Fields is that great of a quarterback. I don't think he reads defenses all that well. And he's someone who likes to force it in certain situations. So for me, the reason that I do have the Lions here and covering the spread is because I think Fields is going to make that key mistake in the fourth quarter, maybe on that last drive where you have a chance to backdoor cover for the Bears. I think he fails here, and I think the Lions cover because of it. I understand a lot of people might be a little worried with that 93% handle on the Detroit Lions. People love the Lions this week. A lot of people might also be worried about that 38 points given up to the Chargers last week. I see a lot of people talking about that on Twitter, and understandably so. But I want to remind you, this is the NFL. People are very good. Justin Herbert had some amazing throws. He played like a stud last week. And then in addition to that, you go back and even look at a team like the 2000 Ravens, the second best, maybe top defense all time. Even they had a 30-point game that they gave up. So this stuff happens in the NFL. The important thing is how do we rebound against Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears? I think this defense comes to play. I think Dan Campbell sent a message to this defense. On top of that, I didn't look at an interception line, but I would love that as well. I think the Lions create some turnovers here. I think they cover the spread because of the mistakes of Justin Fields and the play of this defense. So I am with the Detroit Lions and the 7.5 once again.
Anybody else from an individual prop standpoint that you like in this game?
In terms of an individual prop standpoint, this line has not been released, but I'm very intrigued to see what DPJ's line is as long as he suits up. He is projected to suit up in this matchup. And for me, I want to see what his line's like. I would imagine it'd be like in the high 30s, 37.5, 38.5. And, DPJ is one of those guys who he can stretch the field. And now that he has a capable quarterback to get him the football, I think he can make some plays for this Lions team. I think he's a better athlete than people give him credit for. I think he's a better route runner. I think he's a better teammate all around. I really do like this pickup for Donovan Peoples-Jones, and he's definitely someone I'm going to be keeping an eye on when that line comes out, because I'm going to be looking at that over in this spot.
What else do we like this week? I know we got a big one coming up, a monstrous game on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, we do. We got the Chiefs and the Eagles this Monday night. It's going to be in Arrowhead Stadium. Right now, this is a 3-point spread for the Kansas City Chiefs. The over-under is 45.5 points, and 62% of the money right now is on the Philadelphia Eagles, with 38% going to the Chiefs. And that actually did surprise me a little bit, but personally, in a playoff-style matchup, I expect this to be an absolute slugfest. The 45.5 points, I think that's actually going to go under, because I think both defenses really come to play in this spot. Like I said, playoff-style matchup. And in terms of game flow, what you want to do to try and beat the Chiefs, beat Patrick Mahomes, is you keep him off the field. The Chiefs are 17th throughout the NFL in rushing yards allowed per game, and I think that's where the Eagles are going to make their way. I think they're going to give the ball a lot to DeAndre Swift. I think Jalen Hurts is going to get involved big time as well. And, to this point in the season, I don't think we've seen the best of Jalen Hurts just yet. As for the Kansas City Chiefs, in my personal opinion, this team does not seem the same to me. Yes, of course, everyone's going to be like, oh, you can just throw it to Travis Kelce every time, whatever. I get that, but you need that secondary weapon, and I understand Rashee Rice is starting to step up, but I just don't think he's there yet. And then you have Isaiah Pacheco in the backfield when this Eagles rushing defense is the top throughout the NFL. So really what they're trying to do and what they want to do is they want to put Patrick Mahomes in these third and long situations. They want to be able to pin their ears back, get after him. And although I think this is a close game, I do think the Eagles end up covering this. And I think this is one of those spots, too, where it could be a Patrick Mahomes last-second drive down the field to either win the game or, backdoor cover, something along those lines. But in the end, I think the Eagles will cover this +3 spread. And as we get closer to kickoff Monday night, I think this is going to go down to around the 2.5, 2 range. So if you want this 3, I would grab it earlier rather than later.
All right, man, what else do you like this weekend? Is there anybody that stands out on the entire schedule that you are just hammering this weekend?
Yeah, and it's kind of just what I said. One of my favorite player props this week is actually from this game, and it's going to be DeAndre Swift over 13.5 rushing attempts. We haven't had a rushing attempt prop just yet, but for me, again, when I choose my prop, I like to go off game flow and what I think is going to happen throughout the game. And like I talked about earlier, I think the Philadelphia Eagles' path to victory is running this football, and I think it's going to be with DeAndre Swift. Like I said, the Chiefs have a subpar average rushing defense at best. Swift is averaging 4.5 yards per carry, and he's actually hit this line in 7 of 9 games this season. And if you can remember, one of the games that he's missed was week 1 when for some odd reason the Eagles went Gainwell the entire game. So for me, I think it's a great spot for DeAndre Swift. He's really become their bell cow. He's getting around 15 carries per game. So he's actually averaging over this line. So for me, it's DeAndre Swift over 13.5 rushing attempts here.
And, Matt, it's not just football that you're in on the action. You have been red hot in the association as well. So if people want to get on the hardwood, they want to get into the shooty hoops action, what's the next step?
Yeah, so the next step for me would be just follow me on Twitter, MoneylineMatt8. I'm a professional handicapper over at Sports Memo and Wager Talk, and then I also have a Patreon where I do same-game parlays, I do single picks and plays, a little bit of everything. I'm actually number 1 over at Sports Memo throughout the NBA currently, and like we talked about, we hit a 37-1 parlay on Sunday. It was huge, and, my slogan is everybody eats. Any pick that I have, I want to give to the people, because if I'm winning, I want everyone to win with me. That's what it's all about. That's what sports gambling is about. You want to put out that fat parlay, you want to win with your boys, and you want to go get some beers and celebrate. So if you want to check some of this stuff out, I am red hot right now. And, even if you don't like my picks and plays, the information is always there. Like, even when I come to this show, I love to try and pack it with good quality information, because even if you don't like the picks and plays, you're still getting valuable stuff that you can take that info and make your own educated picks with it. So that would be the first step. Definitely follow me on Twitter, maybe Wager Talk or Sports Memo. I do NBA breakdowns over on Sports Memo, Wager Talk every single day. So, yeah, that would be the first step. I appreciate it, Anthony.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, look, you want everybody to eat. We want everybody to eat. It's Thanksgiving, so we want to overeat this weekend leading into the holiday week. His name is Matt Kowalis. You can find him over on Twitter at MoneylineMatt8. Click the links, hit the follow button, get paid. The guy's red hot, 10-0-2 in the last 3 weeks on this program alone. Matt Kowalis is always my friend. Appreciate the time this morning, partner.
Yes, sir, Anthony. Happy Friday, everyone, and let's keep it rolling.
We'll step aside, back with more X's and Bros after this. Michigan Sports Network.
Earn bonus points with M-Perks at Meijer for just one more way to save this holiday season. Shop groceries, apparel, gifts, and more, and earn points on it all. And right now, earn 2 times the points for every dollar you spend on select Meijer brand food. Earn points every time you shop and redeem them anytime you want. Make Meijer your one-stop shop for everything you need this holiday season. And with M-Perks, you'll save even more. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's a Black Friday free fall every week in November. Each week, nab the best deal around with drawings from 3 to 11 p.m. Every hour, 4 lucky players will win up to $1,000 premium play. Don't miss a moment of the excitement. It's Black Friday free fall. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Miss any of today's show? Find our podcast and listen on demand on Google, Apple, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Join us now. It's going to be so great to have his voice back on the show. Our good friend, Jeff Risdon. Find him on Twitter, at Jeff Risdon, managing editor of the Lions Wire and the Draft Wire, co-host of the Detroit Lions podcast as well. Jeff, first and foremost, before I even get to you, how are the kids?
Oh, man. First of all, thanks for having me on. My kids are getting ready for basketball season. High school basketball is just around the corner. My son has his first scrimmage this Saturday, and daughter has stuff next week. So, transitioning from volleyball season to basketball season is it's a good time in the Risdon house right now.
Oh, transitioning from trying to have a career and becoming a taxi driver. It's all kind of one and the same. And all the parents with high school kids and young kids, they all know exactly what I'm saying. It's a revolving wheel of what time do we have to be where. Now, how are you, my friend? How's life?
Oh, it's great. It's a great year to be covering the Detroit Lions. Having eternal optimism finally pay off. The blue Honolulu blue Kool-Aid is going down real smooth this year. They're 7-2. They're about to be 9-2, and in the next week, it's a great time to be a Lions fan.
It really, truly is. And, so often, and this has been covered at different points throughout this season, but if we go back like 2 weeks to that game against the Las Vegas Raiders, you have multiple turnovers, 2 of which are in plus territory. You have 3 drives that stall for points, and I thought that was absolutely the right call, taking the field goals when you got them. You win that game 26-14, and even though these quote-unquote bad things were happening, it never really felt like that game was in doubt. And then you fast forward to this past Sunday on the road, West Coast game. Lions not historically great in the state of California. The defense starts strong. They give up 5 consecutive scoring drives touchdown drives, I should say, to the LA Chargers. But still, it never felt like the bottom was going to fall out. And I didn't gather that from Twitter. I didn't feel it personally. The people I was watching the game with, they never talked about like, oh, there's no way. Like, it really does feel like that paradigm has switched.
Absolutely. One of the things that we like to do when we're covering the games, we like to pre-write the post-game stories as much as we can. And I never wrote or even had in the outline for writing that the Lions were going to lose that football game. You're right. It just felt like, okay, the Chargers are going to keep scoring, but so are the Lions. And I love the fact that they were able to win a shootout game against a really good offense. That's an encouraging sign. They might have to do that in the postseason if they're playing Philadelphia or Dallas or even San Francisco. They might have to outscore some teams. There's the fun old axiom that defense wins championships, and that's kind of true. Defense doesn't actually win games, though. You have to score more than the opponent, and that's something that I wasn't sure that this offense could do. Against a very good Chargers defensive front. That team, they get after the quarterback really well, and the offensive line absolutely delivered a home run game. Joey Bosa not getting a single stat. Khalil Mack getting 1 QB pressure, getting 1 tackle for loss. Like that offense, that ability to go out and score 41 points on the road against a really good defensive front. That's a top 5 defensive front in the NFL, and the Lions went out and did that. Yeah, you better believe I'm going to be excited about that, and that's very encouraging to me. Yeah, it sucks that they scored the 38 points and that they had their way, down the field so much. But, you're going to have that from time to time. I thought it was very encouraging because, look, the Ravens did the same sort of thing. They scored a whole lot of points on the Lions defense, and the Lions were fairly helpless. And the Lions offense didn't come through in that game. And the fact that they did come through in this one gives me a lot of encouragement that they can win a game in multiple ways. And that's what good teams can do. They don't just have to win with defense. They don't just have to win with offense. These Lions can do it either way. And that, to me, that's incredibly encouraging.
You know, you mentioned that offensive line, and with Hal Vaitai going to IR, Graham Glasgow comes in, does a great job at that right guard position. One of the things that really stood out to me early on in the game, the icy whites, the all-white jerseys, right? At the line of scrimmage, those big fellas were getting down the field. They were getting to that second level, and I thought that it was just a brilliant blend of capability from the offensive line mixed in with some ingenious play calling and some different looks that got, their star players the ball and got them some opportunities. And really, it all seems like this offense is really kind of coming together after that egg that they laid in Baltimore.
Oh, 100%. And, you talked about the offensive line getting out in space. That makes them really difficult to defend. And I will go back to the touchdown pass to Brock Wright, and the way that they sold the play action on that, with the way David Montgomery did it, the way Rodrigo, a linebacker playing fullback, sold the play fake. My goodness, if you're a defense facing this team, what do you do? What do you try to do? Because David Montgomery can gash you for a 75-yard run. Jahmyr Gibbs can take you for 25 around the outside on any given play. You got to worry about Sam Laporta, the best rookie tight end in NFL history. That's not just me saying that. That the facts literally back that up. He is off to the best start of any rookie tight end in NFL history in terms of productivity and consistency of productivity. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the top productive receivers in the league. You got so many different things that they can do, and their line is great enough to let them do it. Jared Goff being the distributor, being efficient, not making mistakes, being aggressive at times when he needs to be. Like, they flummox defenses, man. It's fun to watch a well-oiled machine like that operate, and they're doing it very well. They're certainly going to be able to do that against the Bears, who, I'm going to give the Bears a little bit of credit. Their defense has gotten better, but they're not stopping these Lions.
What is it, Jeff, that you think perhaps you mentioned Jared Goff in the start that he's been off to this season? He's been sensational. He's got over 2,500 yards. He's got 14 touchdowns. His QBR is right there at about 66. Like, he's having a good year, and I still feel like some people are a little hesitant to acknowledge how good that he has actually been. Why do you think that is?
I think some of it is it's difficult to ignore past performances. There are still a lot of people who don't think that he's the long-term answer for whatever reason, whether it was the fact that, he was sort of he was viewed, and I'm sort of guilty of putting this prism on people as well, as somebody who wrote a lot about it. He wasn't great in Los Angeles. His time there did not end well, and he was seen as sort of a afterthought in the trade with Matthew Stafford, and it's clearly not like that anymore. And the data that has come out and the information that we've been given since then, you have to change your opinion. You have to change your point of view when facts change it. And Goff has done that. I still think there's a lot of people that are a little hesitant to say, well, is he worth $55 million a year? And that's what he's going to get this offseason. Like, I understand the trepidation there, but he's playing so well right now. Just enjoy that and embrace the fact that he is a perfect fit for what this offense is trying to do and needs. It's Ben Johnson and Jared Goff sat down before the 2022 season. They tailored everything that Jared Goff does well weave that into the focus of the offense instead of trying to, hammer triangles into trapezoids and things like that. They do a great job with it. And, we'll worry about 2024 and beyond later. Right now, Jared Goff is the perfect quarterback for this team and doing great with it. Let's embrace that and let's ride that to an NFC North title for the very first time, because that's in our grasp, very much so.
Most people would have said round peg into square peg into round hole, but not the professor of geometry, Jeff Risdon. Triangles and trapezoids, ladies and gentlemen. Now with this Chargers offense, with the way that they were going up against this defense, we did struggle to create pressure, and when we did, Justin Herbert, he's slippery. He escaped and evaded to the best of his ability. I thought that some of the matchups there where, you get linebackers on Austin Eckler, it felt like, the Chargers, anytime that, the Lions backed off the line of scrimmage on the perimeter, they were just chewing up the zone. What did you see when you look back at the film?
You brought it up earlier. They did well early, and because they were aggressive early, they were attacking early. Aaron Glenn's defense does pretty darn well when they are dictating the terms of the game to the offense. And they got away from that, and they got away from that badly. This is not a team that can play zone defense, especially not with the young linebackers they've got. Look, I like Jack Campbell, and I'm still pretty bullish on his long-term future, but right now he is not a guy that you want playing zone coverage. Derek Barnes, not a guy that you want playing in zone coverage, especially against Austin Eckler, and especially when you ask him to guard Keenan Allen, who's going to the Hall of Fame someday. Like that, it was bad matchups, and I thought that the fact that they couldn't get pressure, the fact that they were a little bit passive and let the Chargers dictate things, it didn't work. Same thing happened in Seattle. Same thing happened with Baltimore. Like, hopefully Aaron Glenn and the powers that be in Allen Park realize that they can't get passive. They can't get soft like that. It doesn't work. This team is not built to play that way. And I thought the Chargers did a great job in taking advantage of it. You got to tip your hat a little bit to them. I thought their offensive game plan was very smart once they adjusted, and they won that adjustment war. They didn't have enough firepower in the end to outscore what the Lions had at them, but that's pretty good offense. And by the way, I'm going to tip the hat. Rashawn Slater, their left tackle, is as good as any offensive tackle in football right now. He's the best left tackle that the Lions have seen all year and will see all year. Give them a little bit of credit, too. Like, the other team is allowed to have good players as well. The Lions did not rush the passer well at all, and some of that's certainly on the Lions. But the Chargers, they're not chopped liver over there. They got some guys.
And Slater is the name that, coming out of Northwestern, a lot of people, that's the same class as Penei Sewell, right? I mean, those two were like right there at the tackle position. It's like if one goes, you take the other. If the other goes, then you take the one. And that's just kind of the way that the chips fell. And for as good of a job as Slater did, and he was remarkable on our side of the football, Penei Sewell, as we've mentioned, I mean, just dominating. He said after the game, walking in the locker room, I was a man amongst boys. I mean, when
he was right on too.
You look at Penei Sewell, Jeff, and you got to be thinking this is franchise. Like, when the contract comes up, it's how many years can we go? What's the max limit of years that we can have this guy on our team?
Oh, 100%. And keep in mind, he's 22 years old. He's one of the youngest starting tackles in the league, and he's already absolutely dominant. It's funny. It came up in my memories yesterday. Or when was that? Tuesday, Wednesday? I don't remember when it was. But it was the anniversary of his first start at right tackle. Remember when he came in, Taylor Decker got hurt, and he had to start over at left tackle after practicing at right tackle all off season. And he didn't get his first start until the tie against Pittsburgh. That was his first start at right tackle. And in that game, he pitched a complete shutout against T.J. Watt. Did it again against Joey Bosa the other day. That is sustained excellence from the very get-go. He is certainly the best run-blocking right tackle in football, and he's got to be right there in pass protection as well. I think PFF has him there. Look, PFF, you can have your quibbles with him, but in general, they're a pretty good comparative ranking tool if you get away from the grades. And he's very high up there, and he deserves to be. He's been so good. Yeah, that's one of those that you got to pay. And let's go back to the lack of pass rush and people bemoaning not making a move at the trade deadline. If you make a move and bring in Chase Young or Montez Sweat, and both those guys would have been really good, you're making a decision that, okay, you can't necessarily pay Goff and Sewell and Amon-Ra and Hutchinson when he gets to his second deal. There's a finite amount of cap room that you can spend on your premium players, and if you do that, then you're not going to be able to pay some of your ancillary players. Those are the trade-offs that you make. Penei Sewell is going to be the highest paid offensive tackle in football sooner than later. That's one of the things that impacts the ability to make deals like that. So hopefully that helps ease a little of the stress that goes on, because I know people are still upset about not making a move at the trade deadline. No, people aren't really all that excited about Bruce Irvin, nor should they be. He's on the practice squad. He was a free agent till late November for a reason. By the way, the same is true of Ndamukong Suh, who wasn't very good last year in Philly. Nobody wants to hear that, but those are the trade-offs you have to make as a good football team. And we are all, I'm certainly learning it myself, I know you are too, we're collectively learning how to be the fans of a good football team. We're not used to that in Detroit. I want to keep getting used to that.
You know, I'm so glad you brought up the salary implications because everybody on the outside plays fantasy football. Nothing costs anything. And then you think about your first 4 picks in this past year's drafts. Like, folks, you got to maximize everything that you can because Gibbs, Campbell, Laporta, and Branch are all going to command $1. And if you can keep the staff in place, I mean, we are way down the road. I mean, hell, we got Chicago coming up in a couple days, and we're worried. We're spazzing out over here. Our hair's going gray as we're talking about what's going to take place in 3 or 4 years. But you have to be able to disperse this money, and if you can keep a majority of the core group intact and get them to buy into what they've built here, maybe there's a sliver of a hometown discount. Maybe. I like to put that out in the universe so that it'll come back in a few years and be like, damn, Anthony, you were right. And I was like, I know I was right. There we go.
Manifest it, baby. Manifest that.
That's what all the influencers on Instagram tell me to do, is to manifest. All right, Jeff, you kind of alluded to it. We've got the Bears on Sunday. The Packers coming in Thanksgiving. You say 9-2. I say 9-2. They'd win both games if what happens?
I think as long as they remember that they're good. And again, that's the travails of a young football team that doesn't have a lot of track record of success. If they go out and they play the sort of football that they did against the Chargers or the Raiders, they're beating both these teams. And I will say this, right now the Chicago Bears are a better football team than the Green Bay Packers. I know fans will bristle at that. The Bears, as they exist right now, are playing better football and are a more dangerous foe than what the Green Bay Packers are to the Detroit Lions right now. And I don't sense any real, like, they've got to stop Justin Fields, who's going to play. The mobile quarterbacks who can throw are a problem. We'll see if he can throw. This is a guy who hasn't thrown a ball in a month because he's had a broken thumb or an injured throwing thumb. Unless they really screw the pooch, they're fine in this game. And then Green Bay, just play your ball. Use your line dominance, run the ball down their throats, stop them from running the ball, make Jordan Love make decisions. He doesn't do that very well at all. I think this is the easiest 2-game stretch on the entire schedule. And God strike me down if I'm wrong, because this is a championship caliber team, and they will prove it by wiping the floor with inferior opponents. That's what good teams do. Let's go see them do it.
You know, and we can end on this. That Cooper Flagg kid doesn't have anything on Lane Risdon. And we're talking to his dad right now, Jeff Risdon. Find him on Twitter at Jeff Risdon. Jeff, my friend, as always, thank you so much for your time today, partner. We greatly appreciate it.
My pleasure. Go Lions.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he is a managing shareholder at Br0's, soon to be Doran Mayhew at the end of the year. And with the merger, there is growth and a chance for you to fill an executive or other high-level finance-related roles, either at Br0 here in downtown Grand Rapids or over at the Doran Mayhew World Headquarters in Troy, or at any of their offices across the country and around the world. They have a national specialized talent pool with ideal candidates for long-term placement, ongoing support for post-placement success. So if you're looking for that next chapter in your professional career, talk to Josh Garvey and the team at Br0. Easiest way, you can call Br0, ask for Josh Garvey, or go to their website, BENEGARTR.com, or look for Br0, soon to be Doran Mayhew, on Facebook and on Twitter.
Save on Thanksgiving in one stop at Meijer. Get a Meijer Grade A frozen turkey, 59 cents per pound, limit 1. Plus all the potatoes, stuffing, and tasty pies you could want. And preview Black Friday deals in the Meijer app. Deals so good, you just gotta celebrate. Get Thanksgiving in one stop and shop holiday deals this week at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. Book your stay this fall in a luxurious first-class room and receive $50 premium play, a $20 spa credit, and a $25 dining credit. Rates are just $289 a night, Sunday through Thursday, and $339 on Fridays and Saturdays. Reserve your room now, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Huge here for my friends from Coppercraft Distillery. Now, they're a Michigan-based company, and they have a message for anybody 21 and up. You're going to want to get hooked up with this Honolulu Blue, a premium can cocktail. Vodka, blue raspberry lemonade. This special limited edition canned cocktail is available at local stores, pubs, and restaurants. And when you're cheering on our favorite pro football team, TDs, tailgates, and more, make sure you grab a Honolulu Blue from Coppercraft Distillery.
Merck Perks from Mercantile Bank is here. Merck Perks checking has all you need to plan your busy lifestyle. Travel services for hotels, airfare, and cruises, cash back rewards, and even savings on prescriptions, eyewear, and dental work. Merck Perks also includes all the traditional benefits you love, like online and mobile banking, and fee-free access to almost 40,000 MoneyPass ATMs. So when you're ready for perks, Merck is here. Learn more at mymerckperks.com, member FDIC.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org.
What are you looking for in a career? What are you looking for in your pursuit of happiness and satisfaction? Let's answer those questions by answering this one. What are you? If you're selfless, courageous, dedicated, disciplined, and humble, your happiness and satisfaction may be in a new career in law enforcement. Visit MichiganPoliceChiefs.org today or simply walk into your local police department and start the conversation. You may find the answer to all of your questions.
Huge here. AB's